Live from the KMOV Broadcast Center in downtown St. Louis, this is News 4 at 5, watching out for you.
It was like a freight train. It was roaring, sounded angry. Then there came a calm, and my wife was asking me if it was over, and I told her, no, baby, it's not.
Survivors telling News 4 about weathering the storm as tornadoes touch down on both sides of the Mississippi River. The National Weather Service confirming touchdowns and damage in Chester, Illinois, and in St. Mary, Missouri, where roofs were ripped off of buildings. But so far, the hardest hit area seems to be Fredericktown, Missouri, where homes and businesses were destroyed. We're going to start our team coverage there tonight. Fredericktown is about 90 minutes south of St. Louis, and that's where News 4's Russell Kinsall spent the day.
Here at this RV business just outside Fredericktown, there are piles of twisted metal and other debris left over from when the tornado came blowing through here last night. Almost every RV on the lot has some sort of damage. This kind of damage stretches out for miles. Homes, barns, businesses, and power poles damaged by the strong winds of the tornado.
Some of the homes are just completely destroyed. The roofs and walls are down, and I mean, yeah, it's just a total massive destruction.
The antique store that Scott Brooks and his wife run was one of those buildings with extensive damage. Here, part of the roof was ripped off by the tornado's strong winds. Along a stretch of Highway 00 outside of Fredericktown, there is an area of extensive damage. Roofs blown off, tarps covering holes in other homes. The way the trees were sheared off is a sign of the strength of the winds. Dozens of homes have some type of damage. Some of them are destroyed and beyond repair.
Damage path about 15 miles long and approximately 200 yards wide, and within that damage path there was extensive damage to homes and trees and power lines.
I talked with the father of 6 kids who said he, his wife, and the children were able to get into their cellar about 1 minute before the tornado hit their home. Their house, when they came out, was destroyed, but not a single person in that family was hurt. And in fact, throughout this region, there have been no reports of any injuries. In Fredericktown, Russell Kinsall, News 4.
Today, the National Weather Service also sent a survey team to St. Mary, Missouri. That's about an hour south of St. Louis. The St. Mary Antique Mall on 7th Street had notable damage. As you can see here, the roof was blown off. The fire department also says down power lines are another issue that they'll be addressing for days after this storm. ALEXIS ZOTOS is in St. Mary, Missouri this evening with more on the damage left behind.
If you take a look at St. Mary's Antique Mall behind me, you can really get an idea of just how much damage this small town sustained. And if we take just a look across the street at this house, it's a devastating situation for so many families, but the incredible thing is everyone survived.
This pecan tree was a lot bigger. That's only a portion of it. The rest of it is it was on here.
Robin Grog and her husband hunkered down in the basement as soon as the sirens went off.
My brother called and said, you know, are you in the basement, because it's coming right at you. And then it wasn't long after that, we took cover by our pool table down there, and then electric went out, and then we heard the debris. And
a look outside her front door shows they were lucky.
Our house is livable, and we're okay, and yeah, I'm thankful for all of that.
Like their neighbors at the Antique Mall, the roof is gone, debris is everywhere, and across the street, little remains of this brick home.
I think it's pretty incredible that we haven't heard any injuries of where we've been.
That was the National Weather Service. They have been out all day surveying the damage across this area. And of course, the work remains. Look at the electric crews that are working very hard to restore power to the people that live here in St. Mary. ALEXIS ZOTOS, News 4.
Across the Mississippi River from St. Mary, Missouri, that tornado also touched down in Chester, Illinois. News 4's BROXTON continues our team coverage there with the story of neighbors rushing to check on their 95-year-old neighbor. Dion?
Corey, everyone in this neighborhood knows Mr. Kip. He spent his entire life living in this now damaged home in a 800 block of Lehman Drive. So when that tornado came through last night, his neighbors checked in on him before and after the storm. And when I got here earlier today, tree limbs were on top of the house, but crews removed them. And now you can see there are holes left in the roof, and even one portion of the house collapsed. Now over here is a barn and a shed. You can see this shed right here. The tornado took it off the foundation and blew it into the street, and that the barn over there completely collapsed. And with all of this damage, many consider Mr. Kip lucky to be alive.
I tried to call over here about 10 right before the storm hit. No one answered, and the girl that runs the little restaurant next to us checked on the elderly gentleman that lives in here who's 95 years old. He wouldn't leave the house, and after the tornado came through, they came and checked on him again and got him out. We deliver to him every Friday. Like I said, our store's right across the street here, and we kind of watch over him, and the whole town watches over Mr. Kip.
Now, people in Chester took Mr. Kip to a hotel for the night, and his son drove down from the suburbs of Chicago last night to check in on him. At 6, his son will tell us how close his father came to getting hurt. Live in Chester, Illinois, DEION, BROXTON, News 4.